Hi all and welcome to Prepare Like a Pro Live Chats. My name is Jake McLean. I am a strength and conditioning coach based in Melbourne. I created Prepare Like a Pro early in the year with the desire to connect footballers that want to improve their athleticism and connect them with elite strength and conditioning coaches. We work with athletes all around the country. If you're interested in working with us, whether it be one-on-one, designing training programs for you, or following our training programs that are pre-written, head over to our website, preparelikeapro.com. Super excited to announce that Kane Johns has joined our team today, and you can get a special discount for the first 10 that purchase a individualized package where he designs a 4-week program for you and you get one coaching session. So make sure to check that out and get into the first 10. I'd like to welcome Torin Baker tonight. G'day, Jade. I'll be catching up with Torin Baker via live Instagram. He's also known as Toz. He has plenty of experience with coaching, and I'll go into that in a little while. I'm just going to invite Torin to join us on the screen. This is a live Q&A as well, guys, so feel free to send through your questions. So I'll get into Toz's intro while he's jumping onto Instagram. He has 6 years experience where he worked at the Western Jets as the head coach, and he also worked as head coach at the Maribyrnong Sports Academy in their football program. Prior to this, Toz had 10 years teaching in a variety of different settings. Baker officially joined Carlton Football Club last week in a new role as the Academy's Pathways and Carlton College of Sports coach. He's taking a multifaceted role in this role where he'll be the senior assistant with the VFL program as well as the new College of Sport where Carlton are focusing on their development program. So he'll have oversight in the Carlton Academy and we'll have an active coaching component with an all-encompassing role. Bear with me, crew. I'm just going to invite Torin. Here we go.
How you going, Toz?
I'm going well, thanks, Jack. How are you, bud?
Yeah, going well, mate. Where are you located? Is that in the car?
Yeah, man, I just had to get away from the kids there. Yeah, I've been having a few Zooms of late and they're interrupting too many. So I thought, out of respect for you, mate, that I just take to the car and make sure that, they can't get to me. So all good.
Thank you. Yeah, I have heard the cars. Actually, I've done a couple of it in the car. It's pretty good sound, I reckon. Keeps it all.
Yeah.
Nice
And mate, I'm just happy to be just by myself without kids going at me. So yeah, pretty good, mate. Yeah.
Fantastic. Well, thanks for jumping on, mate.
No problem at all, bud.
And we'll jump straight into it. What age did you first fall in love with the game of football?
Yeah, so I mean, I was a footy kid when I was sort of 4 or 5. Yeah, very much. My father was a very footy person, and so I just loved playing it. It probably got to probably around 22, 23 that I started learning some things that I really started making the shift to actually just even thinking about coaching. So I was sort of playing some VFL footy at the time. Actually had, Alastair, Clarkson, Chris Bond. I just felt I was learning a lot of things and I started to write down some of the things that I learned. And then I was still wanting to play and played till my mid-30s, but I actually became an playing assistant coach at 24. So it's always been a struggle. When I sort of left the AFL, I sort of went straight down the coaching path. So, but yeah, very veered back to playing as well. So yeah, there's nothing better than playing, but the very next best thing is coaching.
Yeah, absolutely. So you were a player coach at the age of 24?
Yeah, I did. I did that for a year, and then I decided to travel, and then the year after, I actually took on the playing coach role. So I was not assistant the first time, just dipped my heels in it, and then sort of about 25, 26, I took on a playing coach role with Camperdown in the country, moved and everything like that, and didn't do it very well, to be honest, and probably found out that I really needed to go back and learn, and I still had the drive and ambition. I just probably didn't have the skill set at that age. I was coaching a lot of people that were older than me, and it was a great learning experience, and I'm so grateful I did it. But yeah, I didn't do all that well, to be honest.
Yeah, and it's so teaching something that you're well experienced in as well. Obviously, you must love sharing your knowledge and things that you learn along your own journey. Did you always think you would be a teacher as well? As a young Torin Baker growing up, was teaching something you were interested in, or was teaching more something that you did because you thought it would improve your ability as a coach?
Yeah, it's a good question because I reckon, like when I did a university course that was sport-based, so it was a human movement course. I was just probably looking to work more so in the sports industry, learn a little bit of things that could help me actually with my playing. And then when I probably got to when I had to make that, so at the end of my third year into the bachelor degree, you have to make a decision about where you want to specialise. And by that stage, I actually did think that coaching might be a path and that teaching would certainly complement that. I certainly knew that I wanted to keep playing and that if I was working in the sports industry, I may not be able to play because the hours can clash and that sort of thing. So So I knew that being able to teach and then play would be good, and learning the skills from a teaching perspective would be good should I want to continue down the coaching path. So it was a factor.
Yeah, awesome. Yeah, fantastic. You mentioned Clarko earlier. I imagine he had a big influence with your career. Are there other guys that have had a strong influence on your coaching career, and what has Clarko's influence been like with your coaching career?
Yeah, well, I suppose that first when I was first being coached and learning a lot of things and I had so Chris Bond and Alastair Clarkson, and both are really good in their own way. From Clarko, it was like he really had an eye for the coaching in terms of the real technical side of the game back then, and I love that, and I know I was applying it to my footy and getting some benefits, and then I saw Chris Bond and how he managed people and managed the group, and was again really, really good in that way. And then I probably had a couple of players that were a little bit older than me at school, but that I played a lot of footy with through St Joey's at school footy, and they went on to have sort of good careers in themselves. But and they end up coaching at AFL level. In Paul Hood still coaching with Geelong. Aaron Greaves, coached at Port Adelaide and was at North as well. And they've sort of coached for they had probably 10-year career at AFL. And there are a couple of guys that I just sort of saw a similar path, and they sort of provide a little bit of I suppose a platform about how to do it, and it just I suppose showed me a path really. Yeah, fantastic. I've seen firsthand your work in the development space, working closely with the boys. You can see that teaching side comes through, and that building that rapport and relationship with the players, and how engaged you are when you're having those chats, whether it be in the group setting or presenting or in one-on-one. What are some of your, I guess, key pillars or key focuses when it comes to developing footballers and younger footballers? Because I know there's a few that will be watching. Yeah, and I've spoken in the past, and I understand that you've got a lot of guys that are sort of on that next tier, wanting to break into the next level, VFL, AFL. I think it's really important that you remember that you're a footballer first and foremost, and that you always want to get your skill level. And when I'm talking about your touch and your kicking, and your marking, and your hands, and just being that one-touch player. And you can, if you're a good level, we'll try and get it to a great level. And if you're great, try and be one of the very best. So remember that you're a footballer first and foremost, and that with the physical side of things, and obviously that I know a lot of guys who would be engaging with you, Jack, try and make sure that that you're not falling outside the parameters for your role, such as a midfielder, that your running's off or you're not strong enough. You've got to get yourself to be physically capable. And for some, it might be that they're already really good and they can make their physical attribute a real strength in their game. Mm-hmm. And that's where that might be the difference between you making the next level or not. But for others, it might be that your football is your real strength, and that just getting your physical attributes, we're talking strength, speed, endurance, to a level that it's not, none of them sort of sit outside the parameter where a club might say, I'm talking VFL, AFL, NAB League club, and they say, no, you can't run, or he just doesn't run well enough, or he's just not strong enough to play that role. And I think that's the great thing about what I've just spoken about, is all those things are within your control. It's just about
trainable.
How much work you're prepared to put in. You're prepared to walk around with the footy all the time. You're prepared to sit at home and handle the ball and do ground balls to yourself. You're prepared to get out with a mate, kick, or go invest in someone with expertise around your strength program and follow a program and go to a club and they give you a conditioning program and you do it to the letter. Like, they're all the things that help you become better and be accepted at the next level. Absolutely. Yeah. Before we lose Bailey's question, because Bailey, remember to use the question button at the bottom, mate. Otherwise, these comments will get lost when new people log on. But I'll ask it anyway. But so he's written in that context, in today's game, is a 188 centimetre midfielder still considered a big midfielder? Or has that changed due to Patrick Cripps, where you have to now be above 192 centimetres? Yeah, no, I think for Bailey at 188, he'd still be considered a big midfielder. I mean, Patrick Cripps is sort of one out of the box. You look at probably him and Bontempelli in terms of their height. They're pretty rare. So, 188 is a really, really good height for a mid. Yeah, I would say almost Bailey. Like, don't worry too much about height, unless sometimes the small ones can worry a bit, and I get that. I'm one myself. But you probably can cop a little bit from the small perspective. But 188, you're in a pretty good state to be able to play a few roles in our game. Absolutely. And you've seen a lot of successful footballers in your time, whether it be Maribyrnong, Western Jets, VFL level, Box Hill Hawks and Hawthorn Football Club, and then now you're at Carlton. So you've seen it all at all levels. Are there successful traits that you've seen that there's a trend there that you can tell, this guy's got what he needs? Or is it so varied
that nearly every individual can find their way if they just stick at it long enough?
Well, I think that's everyone forges their own path. So there is certainly individuals that do it a different way. But I mean, there's probably two, I reckon, would say that one, you can never substitute the work ethic. So therefore, someone like a Tom Mitchell who and more is someone who's a terrific example of the work ethic. To even say to someone like a Zach Butters who's playing at Port Adelaide, who I coached as well, he's a second-year player, and people are talking about him as one of the cleanest players in the competition. And the reason is because at lunchtime, school he'd be doing touch sessions and has a great love for that and tries to make it competitive. So there's that work ethic, but then also there's that. I think it's the other thing is the mindset in terms of just being able to handle what's thrown at you. It could be, Jack, you throw a super challenging physical session and players are able to cope with that, or a coach gives some really harsh feedback around an aspect of your game and you're able to cope with it. You're tired and you still get out and train. You've had a bad week, but you're able to focus on hand and your performance doesn't suffer. And I've seen, even like Cameron Rayner, who might be sore, might be that, but come game day, they're pretty resilient to that. And I think some of that comes down to a bit of your self-belief, and also sometimes you're just luckily sort of put together that way with the mindset. But if you're not, then identify it and try and work on it. And again, seen a lot of players who have made a flip in their career around going, well, I'm not handling this, and put some work in and been able to cope and then succeed from there. But the better you can get that and earlier, the more likely you're not going to chew up your opportunities. Yeah,
fantastic. That's great advice, mate. Thanks for that. I'll go to Tyler's just sent through a couple of questions. So we'll get, what does he send in? 3 for you. So I'll try and...
Good year.
So this is your first one. You've coached NAB League for 6 years. What do you look for in a player/person? So I've been doing a bit of work with Tyler. Yeah, Tyler, he wants to crack into NAB League. He's 16, waiting for my opportunity to be invited to NAB League. Any advice? And then the third one, so they're all relatively similar, but what skills needs to be elite for small forwards to reach that level? So they're three that he's...
Yeah. So in terms of what I look for in a NAB player, or could be any player, is are they really, really hungry? It sounds like you are, which is good.
Yeah.
But there are multiple things, but there's nothing better than a player standing out from their hunger and their want. And so when you say you're 16 and you're waiting maybe for that call up, and I know the pathway has changed where it's sort of under 17. I'm not sure if you're actually turning under 17, Tyler, but I would say that I always like getting a phone call from a player and saying, I'm keen, is there a chance? And go and do my research and might find a contact about you and then sort of get the ball rolling from there. And then the third part around that small forward, look, I think, I've just touched about that skill level. I mean, you may not get as many opportunities as a small forward and you've got to make the most of whether it's a ground ball or a ball comes off pack or it's a snap kick for goal. You've just got to make the most of the opportunities. So get your skill level to be the absolute very best. No doubt speed is a big thing now for small forwards, the ability to be able to put on pressure and then break away from, close checking defenders. So, put some resource work into your speed, but without knowing a bit about how you play as well, it's a bit harder to know. But I just know those two assets are really valued as a small forward. Yeah.
Fantastic. Thanks, Toz. I'm sure Tyler will get cracking on that speed in his hands and intensity in his skills, and also take that, what he's done there and asking you questions. No reason why not to. I think you mentioned Ray, so Stingrays, try and reach out and show him that he's interested. Yeah. It's good advice, even just in life in general, isn't it?
That's it. And I've sort of come across the Stingrays coach, and I think, knowing what I know of him, I think he'd enjoy that, to be honest. So, that's the way I like players calling me, telling me how much they want it. They've got to back it up, but at the same time, it is good to know that. Yeah,
it gets noticed. Love it. Fantastic, mate. This new role, obviously, it sounds super exciting. Do you want to go into... It's quite multifaceted, so there's a fair bit to it. So there's the academy program, there's a pathways program, so you'll be looking after the future Carlton potential players, is that right?
Yeah, and I suppose with the footy soft gap, it is working across all the areas of the footy club in terms of we're looking at VFL, AFL, the academy, so which includes what you said about father-son, father-daughter, next generation academy, and then there's that component of the Carlton College of Sport, which is new, and so which takes on very much, there's some hot sporting school programs out there, such as Maribyrnong Sports Academy, which I used to work at, Roval Sports Academy, where players are able to combine their study with a development program. There's no such
Amazing.
program as university, so this is the first one. So enormously passionate about that. I think it's a great fit for, particularly with, and and for me, the variety in the role was, excellent. That just across all the group, all main areas of the footy club, really.
Yeah, and all your experiences can come into play.
Point of view, and I'm sort of a couple of weeks into it, but very much enjoying it.
Yeah, fantastic. And how does it work with the Carlton Academy? This new thing that's going on, is it where you live?
No. I mean, I think there's applications from interstate and country areas, that sort of thing. So it's very much you wanting to go down a university path of a sport-related field. So, I think to myself, back when I was 18, that's something that would really appeal to me. And then they obviously combine with La Trobe University, will do their university course. But it's built into the week to allow them to have the football development time at the Carlton Footy Club, which runs in a very similar way to what the young players get exposure to at Carlton Footy Club. And then they're able to go back and play with their NAB League or community level club and train with them of an evening and that sort of thing. So it's a really it complements their club environment. Yeah,
fantastic. And then the VFL component of the role, will you have a game day role? Will you be at VFL trainings? How will that look?
Yeah, so it will be. So it's a senior assistant line coaching role with the midfield and working with a group of coaches. Dan O'Keefe, who's been appointed as Carlton VFL coach, is Carlton have got a standalone VFL team for the first time in I think 20 years. So I know the club is very excited about that. Yeah, there's a group of 5: Kate Simpson, Luke Power, and Matt Buck from Werribee as well that are the coaching group. So it's a very new.
Yeah, super exciting, mate. And I guess that you've probably answered it, but what are you most excited about for 2021?
Yeah, I suppose for me, I still think the most exciting element for me is probably sometimes it's where players start and where they finish at the end of the year. So that's affirmation for not just your work. The players do the work, you support them, but I'm always sort of excited to see where a player can get within their footy and how advanced they can track. So it's not as much wins and losses. It's just being able to, I suppose, have some impact. But realistically, it's the huge phases of development that probably more excite me, to be honest, around players that you work with. Yeah.
Fantastic, mate. Oh, Carlton's lucky to have you, and it sounds like you're in the perfect role for yourself, mate, for that exact reason, supporting players to develop year by year. So super exciting, mate. Thanks for taking out the time and ducking away into the car for our catch up.
I
really appreciate it.
I'm missing bedtime for the kids, so wife's doing that. So pretty comfortable sitting out here, mate, having a chat.
Yeah, fantastic. Awesome, Charles. Well, thanks again, mate, and thanks for everyone who joined us and sent through the questions. They were really good questions, so I'm sure you enjoy those answers from Charles. So get cracking into his advice and follow that advice, and best of luck.
No, thanks, Jack.
We'll speak soon, mate.
See you, mate.
Catch you guys.